really give a crap what anyone says. If Rise of Skywalker is still trailing The Last Jedi in the box office, that is not a good sign for the epic conclusion of the Skywalker saga. The Avengers Endgame of the Skywalker saga. It is not a good sign when the very last movie, the closing chapter of this entire storyline, is still performing weaker than the last Skywalker movie that you put out, that Disney put out. It is not a good sign. There's a lot of people that are continuing to try to spin this as a great thing. Like this article right here is like, ooh, Rise of Skywalker nears $1 billion. Woo! It's so popular. And it's not. By this time, Avengers Endgame had hit $1 billion. It hit $1 billion in what? Like its second weekend or something? Something like that. Or was it even... No, it wasn't the first weekend, I don't think. I think it was the second weekend, though. I'm pretty sure it was the second weekend. Avengers Endgame, the closing chapter of the Infinity War saga, hit $1 billion. Rise of Skywalker is struggling even in its third weekend. This is not a good sign. This does not show that Star Wars is in a healthy place. It's because it's not in a healthy place. The fan base is more divided than ever. It's fractured. It's broken. There are so many different factions within the Star Wars communities. People are at each other's throats all the times. Some people love the Rise of Skywalker and the Disney's trilogy. Some people hate the Rise of Skywalker and the Disney trilogy. It's just a complete mess. On top of that, we have Disney with all of their nonsense with Rotten Tomatoes as well. All of that on top of everything. It just goes to show that everything is complete chaos right now when it comes to Star Wars. But anyway, it is what it is. But let's go ahead and see what they have to say here about the Rise of Skywalker nearing $1 billion. Ooh, super hype. Super duper hype. Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker nears $1 billion at box office after 3 weekends. Both Star Wars and Frozen 2 reached $450 million domestic, while Sony controls the rest of the top 5. Rise of Skywalker is on pace to become the 7th Disney 2019 release to gross $1 billion worldwide as Disney continued its reign over the box office charts. Now, if that's even true, like, Captain Marvel came out at the beginning of last year. It's 2020 now, so yeah, last year. And they claim that it hit $1 billion. I still have a hard time believing that. Obviously, that's what it shows by all, by everything, all the data that we have. So I'm going with the data because that's what we have. But there's still a small part of me that doubts that movie actually hit $1 billion. Disney is a dirty snake of a company, and they will pull the most filthy stuff that they can to try to make their image look good. Bob Iger, especially. Bob Iger, as we all know, is wanting to run for president in the future, and he's trying to do all he can to really boost his image. And, having Captain Marvel look like it hit $1 billion definitely helps with that. Not only that, but it seems kind of weird in a way that almost every single movie that Disney has put out in 2019 has hit $1 billion, besides like Dumbo. So, I don't know. It's just weird to me. It's weird. And I have a really, really hard time believing that. I don't have any trust in Disney anymore. They broke my trust after the whole Rotten Tomatoes nonsense that they pulled with Captain Marvel. And there's plenty of things that happened last year that Disney did that was really dirty, really rotten, that broke my trust with the company. It's really sad to think that I was someone who, like, 4 years ago, looked at Disney as a company and was like, you know what, Disney can do no wrong. Disney's doing great. Look at all these great movies they're giving us. They're continuing to give us great content. They're so family friendly. No, I was wrong when I had that opinion. I acknowledge it now. I take responsibility for it now. But Disney is not a great company. Not anymore. I'm sure that Walt Disney is rolling in his grave. With all the crap that Disney is doing nowadays. But anyway, the J.J. Abrams film is estimated to make $36 million from 4,406 screens this weekend, which would bring its domestic total to $453 million. And combined with overseas numbers, push its global total past 900 million. Rise of Skywalker is on pace to become the 7th Disney 2019 release to gross 1 billion worldwide, though it will finish its run behind the 1.33 billion total of its predecessor, Star Wars: The Last Jedi. So, the numbers are still not as good as The Last Jedi. Which, you know, I don't care how you slice it. No matter how you slice it, this is not a good sign for Disney. This is not a good sign for Star Wars. Disney needs to get their crap together if they want to heal the Star Wars community, if they want to heal the Star Wars fan base, because right now it is completely fractured. At the beginning of The Force Awakens, most of the Star Wars community was very united, very together, very excited. Probably like 90%, 85% maybe, but more like 90% of the Star Wars fan base was very, very excited about what Disney was going to be doing with Star Wars. Because at that point, a lot of people still have the same mentality that I did, that Disney was doing great. Disney was doing fine. Everything was going great with the Marvel Universe. You know, Pixar was doing great. Everything looked like it was golden with Disney. You know, Force Awakens came out. A lot of people were pretty happy with that film, me included. But then kind of moving past that, we got The Last Jedi, and that's kind of when everything just exploded into chaos. Everything became fractured, and Disney hasn't done anything to try to heal that. Not even one little bit. And Rise of Skywalker definitely did not heal that. If anything, it just continued to drive the wedge deeper in the Star Wars fan base. So, you know, the fact that it's not going to beat The Last Jedi in the box office is a sad sign. It's a very bad sign. It's a bad sign for Disney. And they really need to figure out how they're going to try to unite the Star Wars fan base. At this point, I don't even know if they can. But, you know, maybe that's kind of more of the pessimistic, realistic side of me that's saying that. I don't know. Another Disney film approaching. Okay, so then it's kind of going into Frozen 2, which is still doing very well. It is now the highest grossing animated film of all time, which is pretty impressive. So well done to Frozen 2. You know, that's that. No, I mean, hey, it's impressive. It really is. So with that being said, that's pretty much all we have right now about Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. There's a lot of people that are, you know, they're like, well, it's gonna hit 1 billion, so it's not a failure. And it's like, okay, I guess in isolation, no, it's not a failure, because yes, it's made its money back. But when you look at the grand scheme of things, which I like to do, I like to look at the bigger picture of things that are happening, not just focus on the isolated issues. It isn't necessarily a win or a success for Disney. It's just not. I don't care how you say it. It's just not. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Subscribe to my channel if you're new around here. I'd greatly appreciate that. And with that being said, I will talk to you all very soon in another video. Talk to you later. Bye.